Well, for this problem, we're not saying anything about a down payment, and it actually comes out and said is a $150,000 home loan. So she is taking out $150K, period. So in a later problem, I think we put everything together. You guys cheer because it's a great problem. You might throw things at me. Please, money is the best thing you can ever throw. Appreciate it. So we have two scenarios here. We have Bank A, which is a 2.75 fixed, 30 years, 2 points. Let's deal with this one first. So in order to complete this problem and in order to figure out which bank is better, we need to boil down two things. The main thing we need is how much total was paid for the loan. And then in order to get that amount, we need to know how much was paid in points, if any, plus how much was paid per payment period. Once we add all of it together, that will equal how much total was paid for the house. So in Bank A, the interest rate is lower, but to get that interest rate, she had to pay some points on this loan. So to figure out how much she owes for the points, well, if all points, meaning 1 point, is 1% of the loan amount, then 2 points is what percent of the loan amount? 2%. So we're going to do 0.02 times 150,000. What is 0.02 times 150,000? 3,000? So what this means is on the day of closing, Yisha comes by smiling with a check for $3,000 to give to the bank to say, thank you for a lower interest rate. That is literally what you're doing. You're paying the bank extra to get a lower interest rate now. Period. Here's the deal. Try to avoid points. Because, yeah, in the long run, you might mathematically be paying less. But nothing stops you that after 10 years you refinance to a lower interest rate without any points. So it's a numbers game, unfortunately. Now, this $3,000 is off to the side. We don't need it until the very end of the problem. We're going to ignore it for now. But now we're going to figure out the payment on a $150,000 house at 2.75% fixed for 30 years. Since we want to figure out a mortgage payment, what formula do we need? No, not that one. Amortization. Good. So remember, amortization is PMT equals PV, parentheses R divided by N, over, parentheses 1 minus 1 plus R over N raised to the negative NP. My V looks like an R. That's terrible. There we go. All right, let's fill it in. What's our PV? What's the current value of the loan? Good. What is our R for Bank A? Good. And if it's a monthly payment, what's our N? Good. Over 1 minus parentheses 1 plus 0.0275 over 12 raised to the negative 12 times for Bank A. The loan amount is for how many years? 30 years. You're pretty much going to type it in exactly how it looks, top to bottom, left to right. But also clean up that exponent before you do anything. What is that exponent going to be? Negative 360. Very good. And again, this is the dollar amounts. Let's go to cents. I got 612.36. Yisha pays 612.36 12 times a year for 30 years, but then she also had to pay $3,000 for the points. So not talking about property taxes, not talking about fees like lawyer fees and whatnot, or any other closing costs you might have to pay. How much total did she pay for the house? Yeah. $450? It's even, right? There's no cents? Oh, thank you very much. So she paid over by $73,450. $3,000 of it was the points. The $70,000 was straight up interest. Let me be very clear here. This is a real life example. This is a very common example. $150,000 house? Yep. 2.75 interest rate? Yep. It's possible. And as stated before, if that were closer to a 6% interest rate, what it was like 3 years ago, this would be closer to $300,000. You almost paid twice for what the original loan amount was. Yes. Or collect cardboard boxes and live in that. Or fix up a house. Right. Yeah. So if you're handy, buy a $60,000 house that used to be a $150,000 house and fix it up. Get a loan for $150,000 so you have the money to fix it up, but your interest rate is going to be so low that it's going to be fine. Yeah. Totally fine. All right, we're halfway done. So that was Bank A. So just keep this number in mind. I'll flip back to the screen when we need to. All right, let me duplicate this. Boop. So let's do Bank B, which is 3.55% fixed for 15 years. And this is no points. By the way, what does this word fixed mean? Doesn't change. You have two types of interest rates. You have variable. I think it's also called adjustable. I'll have to look that one up. And you have fixed. Please be careful. The variable ones look like a great deal, and they typically stay that way for 3 years, and then after that they double or triple. And usually sometimes people pick the variable one because they're like, oh, I'll only be in the house for a year, and then I'll move. Well, you never know what's going to happen in that year. You know, you might have to stay in that house, yada, yada. So, again, please do the math before you do any of this stuff. Or the other option is always marry rich. That's fine. All right, we're going to go right into amortization because we don't need any points here. So it's going to be PMT is equal to, what's the PV? What's the present value of the loan? Yep. R over N for Bank B. Good. Over. Good. Parenthesis 1 minus 1 plus 0.0355. Oh, I forgot my 0. That's okay. I'll just do it. That's fine. Raise the negative 12 times what for Bank B? 15. What is 12 times 15? 180. We have a higher interest rate at a smaller loan period, which means we should expect comparatively a higher payment. I got $1,076.01. Did anyone else get that? Okay. So you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's $400 more a month. Keep in mind, she pays it off 15 years earlier than the other amount. Also, she's paying $1,076.01 12 times a year for 15 years. We don't have to tack on any points. We didn't discuss a down payment, so we don't have to tack that on either. I got 193, 682, any cents? 681 and 92 cents? Thank you. So, assuming Yisha is able to afford the $1,000 plus payment a month, notice that comparing to Bank A, she's saving $30,000 and also 15 years if she chose Bank B. But yeah, it's that whole, can I afford $400 extra a month to make the house payment,